If you're a Christian woman running a business, you likely know the tightrope walk of balancing profitability with purpose. You want your work to honor God, but you're also trying to figure out marketing strategies, manage cash flow, and maybe just survive the week without burning out. Today, we are diving into a text that you might not immediately associate with the corporate world or entrepreneurship. 1 Chronicles chapters 25 through to 29.
Samara.
Welcome back to the Her7 1-Year Bible Study Group podcast. I'm your host, Zamontheplat. Now, I know what you're thinking. Genealogies, temple organization, and David's final speeches. What does ancient temple architecture have to do with my boutique, my coaching practice, or my digital agency? More than you may think, my friend. Today, we are going to take a look at how King David prepared a generation for a project he wouldn't even see completed. Let's talk about it. We are talking about legacy, divine design, intentional resource management, and passing the baton. Grab your coffee or matcha and your notebook because we are unpacking the ultimate blueprint for building a God-honoring enterprise. Let's open our Bibles or your Bible app to 1 Chronicles chapter 25. If you glance over this chapter, it reads like a massive organizational chart. David is setting apart the musicians and leaders of worship, Asaph, Heman, and Jeduthun, prophesying with harps, lyres, and cymbals. Every single person had a specific post, a specific role, and a specific order. All of these were under the hands of their fathers. As a Christian woman in business, we sometimes fall into the trap of thinking that being spiritual means being disorganized, spontaneous, or just letting the Spirit lead you every minute of the workday. But God is a God of order. When David organized the temple musicians, he wasn't crushing creativity. He was creating a structure for the creativity to thrive. Excellence in business requires systems, job descriptions, and even a structure for operations. Just as every musician had a designated place, you need to know your core competency. You can't wear every hat forever. True growth happens when you delegate and let others step into their God-given operational roles. Now moving into chapters 26 and 27, we see the logistics, inventory control, and human resources in ancient Israel. David didn't just have a great vision. He had an administrative framework to back it up. In our culture, we love the visionary stage. We love the launch day, the branding, the Instagram aesthetic, but true kingdom businesses require the unglamorous work of management. Over the king's treasuries was Zamontheplat, and over the storehouses in the fields was Jonathan. Not his bestie, that was Saul's son, another one. There was another assigned over those who did the agricultural work was Ezri. How are you managing the back end of your business? Are your finances transparent? Do you treat your bookkeeping, customer service, and inventory with the same reverence as your public-facing marketing? Managing your resources well isn't just good business practice, it's an act of worship. When you handle your business's finances with integrity, you're telling God that you honor what He has entrusted to you. This brings us to the climax of the book in chapter 28 and chapter 29. David is old. He has gathered all the leaders of Israel, and he hands over the ultimate blueprint to his son, Solomon. David knows he won't build the temple. God told him no. But did David pout and stop working? Did he withhold his resources? Absolutely not. Listen to David's heart in 1 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 3. Moreover, because I have set my affection to the house of my God, I have of mine own proper good of gold and silver, which I have given to the house of my God over and above all that I have prepared for the holy house. David gave extravagantly out of his personal wealth because he set his affection on God's house. As a Christian, especially as a Christian entrepreneur, your work, your business is ultimately a vehicle for God's kingdom. Are you building something that only serves your name, or are you laying the foundation for others to build upon? In chapter 29, Verse 14, David prays, "But who am I, and what is my people, that we should be able to offer so willingly after this sort? For all things come of thee, and of thine own have we given thee. When you make profit in your business, whose do you claim it is? When you invest in your community, support your ministry, or employ people with dignity, are you echoing David's prayer? Lord, from your hand we have given to you." Ladies, whether your business is scaling rapidly or you're in your quiet season of laying foundational stones that nobody sees yet, remember the lesson of 1 Chronicles. God cares about structure. He cares about the operational details. And most importantly, he cares about your heart posture. Your business is a sacred assignment. Step into your role with excellence, organized with wisdom, and build a legacy that outlasts you. If this episode resonated with you today, take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram or your TikTok stories, and tag me at Zamontheplat. Don't forget to subscribe as well and leave a review. It helps other Christian women find this community. But until next time, keep building with purpose and remember that your work matters to God. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next chapters.